This Montana archery hunt is one that I've been looking forward to for a long time, and for many reasons. One, I get to hunt with a really good friend, Corey Jacobsen. And two, those of you who know Corey and know of him, you know that Corey is, I don't know, 7 or 8-time World Elk Calling Champion. And I'll tell you, this is probably the funnest week of archery elk hunting I've ever had. If Randy has one area where maybe the TV show and my experience has helped me learn a lot, it's about, I know where to find elk on a consistent basis. But in archery season, I'm not gonna proclaim to be a champion caller. In fact, I consider myself a below average caller, and that's why I don't call much. So you take the combination of me and Corey, I have a pretty good idea where the elk are gonna be. And once we get to where they are, Corey is like the Pied Piper. He is going to be able to get a reaction out of them. He's going to be able to read their language of what they're saying, what they're doing, and develop a tactic to get in there and hopefully get in a shot.
I'm Corey Jacobsen, and I'm here with Randy Newberg hunting elk in southwest Montana. Love public land, do-it-yourself, self-guided hunting, and nobody better to hunt elk with than Randy Newberg.
So when you leave the truck, do you Google to start with, or do you?
Why would I walk by elk?
Kind of like the guy who, he launches his boat, he drives 5 miles down the lake and drove past all
Before
the
he
fish.
starts fishing, yeah.
I get it. I'm in.
If I can shoot an elk right here and not have to pack it very far.
$100 for you, for me.
Really?
The very first night of this hunt, we went up to a spot that I've always had good luck as far as finding elk in the rut. And we were walking down this old logging road, and Corey walks out to the point. And instantly a bull bugles back to us.
What did you tell him? He said, "Hey, I'm a cow, I'm all alone." And he responded and said, "I like the sounds of that."
In my mind, I'm thinking it's never this easy. And Corey's like, well, here's how we're gonna set up. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna move down and I'm gonna challenge him. You stay back here and you do some cow calls, and if he and I can start talking, we'll see what happens. I'm like, there's antlers, there's Corey. Why is he not shooting? This bull has 6 points on one side, 5 or 6 on the other, and he's not shooting. And finally, Corey looks up at me and he goes like this, which I think he means not big enough. So here it is, first evening, and we've already had a wonderful encounter. And I walked back to Corey and he was like, man, there ain't much to this Montana elk hunting stuff.
Well, if the big bulls are as dumb as the little ones, we're gonna have fun.
Leupold's Fresh Tracks with Randy Newberg is brought to you by Leupold Optics, Go Hunt Insider, changing how hunts are found, Kenetrek Boots for the trail less traveled, the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, and by Rocky Mountain Hunting Calls. We call the game.
I'm a grouse nut. If I show up someplace and there are grouse, I can almost give up on the elk hunting.
One down. Is that dinner? Chicken in a pot. He took his head off. I feel like chicken tonight, like a chicken tonight.
I've never seen anybody with, I don't know if it's an addiction or obsession or a fetish, but Randy was, he was focused in on grouse this week.
I don't know what it is, but growing up in northern Minnesota, for me, hunting grouse brings me back to my childhood.
These are roughs. You guys who think you need like a $4,000 dog and an Italian shotgun, this is how you kill rough grouse.
I think the term Corey used was Randy's reached the point of an affliction or a disease when it comes to grouse. But hey, I got a whole cooler full of grouse. This is an area I hunt a lot. It's kind of my favorite spot in southwest Montana. And it doesn't get a lot of pressure because, as you will see, this place is loaded with grizzly bears. I mean, it's a grizzly bear heaven.
Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Is that a Sasquatch?
Wonder if we have permission to trespass in his property.
The terrain, the topography, and the thickness, and then the grizzly bears make this an area that people just don't want to hunt that much. And that's fine with me. This right here, we carry this because it's a deterrent, close range deterrent, unfortunately. But when you hunt grizzly country, you just got to be smart about it. And one of the reasons we can be on a general elk hunt in Montana, general tag with tons of public land and plenty of elk, and not encounter very many other hunters, is because every day we've seen fresh grizzly tracks. Doesn't mean you don't hunt there, it just means you try your best to avoid the places they're at. And if you see one, let them go do their thing, you go somewhere else.
One of the things that might surprise most people about the way I prefer to hunt elk is I'm very aggressive. It's run and gun. The elk here, you know, that's how we have to hunt them. They're very timid, they're call shy, they've been hunted a lot for the last 4 weeks. And we're chasing elk that are on public land that have been pressured nonstop. There's predators, we're constantly running into grizzly tracks, wolf sign, we're hearing wolves. There's a lot going on that's making the elk really quiet and really timid. So when we'd hear a bugle, we went after it. And most of the time the bull ran and we chased it for miles, and we finally got it cornered and got in close. We're very aggressive with it, and it worked great. We called in, I think, 4 of the first 6 elk that we heard bugle.
Corey is as good as anybody I've ever hunted with or watched in coming up with what should be the strategy, what should be the tactic. And I was surprised how much Corey, I don't want to say watch the wind, even to a higher level, more than just watch the wind. Corey is always got his wind checker. And there's times I thought, well, that bull's only 150 yards in front of us. And he would make a 3/4 mile loop just because the wind. And I'll just tell you, it paid dividends. How many hunters do you think fail to get close in an archery opportunity just because it's not that any of us disregard the wind. I don't think that in the past I've been giving the wind enough credit. Once you have a bull, that's what you're looking for. Don't screw it up by being in a hurry and not paying attention to the wind.
Smart raghorns. We just need to find the 6 points now. But we're 2 for 2. We've called in 2 bulls, could have shot both of them, so we're successful already.
And it was a huge learning experience for me because there is a reason that when Corey hears a bugle, he gets an encounter just about every time. He had the success rate of hear a bugle to encounter. It's above 50%. That's amazing. I mean, even if it was a far off faint bugle, we would just take off and we would get there and we'd have some sort of encounter. It might not be a shot, but you'd get a glimpse of that bull. Sometimes it's the brush is too thick. Sometimes it's, well, Corey, you're being too picky, I'll tell you that.
So what we've been doing in the heat of the day, we've just been going from point to point, and the Pied Piper here has been singing his song, and there's a bull bugling from his bed down here about 300 yards away. So we're gonna go in, Corey's gonna kill him, and that'll be the end of the story. The end. T-H-E-E-N-D. You wanna punch your tag now?
You just jinxed us.
You can punch your tag now, I mean, and we'll just leave it at the trough.
We better hold on.
Okay.
We might get sidetracked looking for grouse.
Okay.
And by the third or fourth day, Corey would look at me and smile and say, "Hey, Randy, think I should have shot that bull the first day?" Yeah, I think you should have, Corey. But we were having a ton of fun, and I don't think either of us were that worked up about we have to fill one of these tags.
Right now it's the morning of the fourth day. We spent most of the first 3 days doing an inventory of what might be here. We've got close to some elk, but now we're going after some specific areas where we've heard the most elk and seen the most signs. So we've crossed a lot of places off our list. Now it's about getting it done.
Leupold's Fresh Tracks with Randy Newberg is brought to you by Howa Precision Rifles and Barreled Actions, Sitka Specialized Outdoor Wear and Equipment, Hunt by Onyx Maps, Land Ownership Hunting Maps, Nosler, when your tag is drawn, make it count, load Nosler up front, and by the Boone and Crockett Club.
You know, I've been fortunate. I've won the World Elk Calling Championship several times through the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, but there's no better stage and no more real contest than what happens right here on public land in September.
That bull, again, 70, 80 yards. Now he just bugled from 300 yards away. We're having troubles pulling him in. Gotta get over there fast. Didn't have time to range it. He was standing down there. I guessed him at 45. I just ranged it. It was about 53.
find all these trees. And he turned to come back to get a cow, and he came through an opening, and a cow called. I don't know. We'll go down and see if I can find my arrow. The shot was good, the pin was on him, but I think I might have misjudged.
One of the things you're gonna see in this hunt, when it's all said and done, it didn't quite turn out the way we'd planned. And that's hunting. As many encounters as we were having, I was convinced that third morning, fourth morning, whatever, Corey would fill his tag. There would be zero chance that Corey would go back to Idaho without an elk in the back of his truck. That's how it happened.
We gave it a college effort, that's for sure. We've not failed for lack of trying. Montana's tough. It's a tough state. There's a lot of country that looks really good, and we got into a few elk, and we called in just about every elk that we got into, but we put on some serious miles just trying to find a couple elk. But Randy and I are already scheming about our next elk hunt together, and might try to go somewhere where there's fewer grouse, fewer distractions.